Do you remember that New Year's Eve, 4 years ago, when you drunkenly thought those 5 tequila shots wouldn't make you vomit all over the dance floor an hour later? No? Well, luckily, Google or some other social platform might be able to refresh your memory. In these days, internet plays a huge role in today's society. We use it for online shopping, socializing, work, and many other things. However, this has resulted in some consequences for a huge amount of people, where certain information about themselves are being published online for everyone to take part of. Should the people have the right to be forgotten? The term "the right to be forgotten" is a concept of the issue about desires of individuals to determine the development of their life in an autonomous way, without being perpetually or periodically stigmatized as a consequence of a specific action performed in the past. This has been discussed widely due to concerns about its impact on both the freedom of expression and its interaction with the right of privacy. Another argument against the concept is that it might decrease the quality of the internet through censorship and a rewriting of history.
In 2009, the Spanish lawyer Mario Consteja González discovered that a Google search of his name pulled up legal notices published in a digitalized version of the newspaper La Vanguardia from 1998. This revealed Mario having been in debt, which of course could have a negative impact on him and his future life. Mario contacted the newspaper asking for the data related to him to be removed, with the argument that the incident published had been concluded years before and no longer relevant. The newspaper replied that this was not possible due to the fact that the publication had been on the order of the Spanish Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. He then contacted Google in 2010 asking them to remove the links pointing to the specific newspaper report, which also was impossible. Both Google Inc. and Google Spain brought actions against the decision before the National High Court of Spain with an appeal which was based on several points proving that data was not being misused in any way. These questions were not only new to the court, but they also raised important points of fundamental rights protection. Because of the concept of the right to be forgotten has been put into practice in the European Union since 2006, Google was required to comply with EU data privacy laws. This resulted in Google receiving over 12,000 requests to have personal details removed from its search engine.
The question of whether a person has the right to be forgotten is much more complicated than a yes or no question. If so, where should we draw the line? Imagine you are the CEO of a big company interviewing a person for a very important role in your company. Of course you want to find out as much as possible about the person before hiring him or her, right? But suppose you are the one being interviewed, with public information about your third year in jail, which occurred 15 years ago, for something you honestly regret this day. Shouldn't you, who have served your year in jail, have a right to a normal life again, without anyone judging your previous mistakes? If not, wouldn't you say that every sentence, even a minor one, in a way turns into a lifelong sentence?
So what are the pros and cons? Well, the good part is letting every person have the right to privacy, for example in cases where a protected identity is necessary, as well as letting people go on with their life without being judged by previous mistakes. On the other hand, there is a risk of increased censorship, which might be a threat to the freedom of speech we have today. If we start censoring, how far is it willing to go? Could we guarantee freedom of speech in the future? All in all, the question is, where do we draw the line?